Hey, what's up? It's time to lay back and listen. Turn the world off and tune in.
Mengapa kau nyalakan api cinta di hatiku, membakar jiwa yang merana.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Did you miss me? I know, I've kept you waiting. But of course, ever since the election, the holidays, amongst other things, and not to mention CapCut being taken down when TikTok came down. It's just been a lot. Also had some deaths in the family and my birthday and just a lot. But I'm back with another episode and I hope that you are all caught up. So if you're not, stop, go back, and lay back and listen to the old episodes. All right, y'all ready? Let's get into episode 9, Monster Killer, by yours truly. Boarding another plane, but this time I wasn't alone. The girls were all with me. I looked across the row of seats. They already had their heads thrown back against neck pillows, AirPods playing various tunes, with the exception of Dizzle, who looked back at me with a reassuring nod. I was so grateful to her, to everyone who moved for me without question. I would forever be indebted to them, and while I had a little coin, that's not what they wanted. They wanted what I had already given, kindness and a pure heart. As much of myself that I could in my current situation. I felt more like me now than I had in most of my relationship with Prime. I couldn't wait to tell Trini who I really am. I guess at this point, it's only my name. Trinidad wasn't his real name, I'm sure, but it still doesn't feel like the same thing to me. I just hope he understands. He wanted to accompany us for safety reasons, to make sure we are okay. Dizzle convinced him to hang back, but I had a feeling he wouldn't be too far away. The thought of him being so protective made me smile. I knew that allowing him to love me after all this would be the easiest decision I ever made. The difficult decisions would come in how to handle the distance that we lived from each other. I didn't want to lose everything I built, but I could build again. I shook my head to clear my thoughts from this line of thinking. I needed to focus on how we get Prime alone. I learned from Vivian that Prime was in the city doing his usual. All of my mom's sources, mainly my cousins and her old neighborhood friends, basically said the same thing. I knew that Prime was still feeling my absence and would try his best to spin and show off to ease the pain. Regardless of how he treated me or what he said, I knew that Prime loved me as much as he was capable. That what I gave to him, the pure love and devotion, will not easily be forgotten. And as men usually felt it more after time passed, he was definitely feeling it now. The ladies and I would touch down soon. I booked a hotel room with an adjoining suite. I'd enter in through one door and wouldn't leave. All room service deliveries would come through the main suite, and I'd just go over and get it. This would keep my face out of the public view as much as possible. You never know who works where, especially with food delivery service these days. I did not want to risk being seen and did not want to be linked to these beautiful ladies visiting the city for the first time. I checked the websites of the hottest clubs and reserved a table for each night. I knew exactly what prom would be on Saturday and then chose Thursday and Friday and Sunday spots. I figured we might be done by Saturday, but didn't want to be too cocky. Prom might have its guard up. The captain came on and told us to prepare for landing. I sat up in my seat and peered out of the window at the city that I had fled months ago. I felt butterflies in my stomach, but I also felt a strength in my soul. This wasn't about like good conquering evil or anything, but it was more like a woman feeling empowered to take back control over her life after having quietly surrendering it because of love or what she thought was love. I know. I said I knew Prime loved me, but his version of love is lacking and undeserving of my heart. I know this now. I adjusted my scarf and glasses. I dyed my hair copper before we left Atlanta. The glasses I wore hid enough of my face that I felt completely confident that no one would recognize me. I was so sure that if anyone did call my name, I'd ignore them as if they were mistaken, the same way my friend did in the parking garage. So much has happened since I left my house with a busted lip and a cut over my eye. I've become a different person. I'm still me at the core, but with so much more experience and people that have shaped my thoughts and beliefs. I was so trusting before being with Prime. I mean, I dealt with people that didn't always have my interests in mind. The dance industry was so competitive, I couldn't be completely naive, but I still had a trust in nature. I learned to listen to my intuition and to let people prove themselves first. I also see that despite how someone appears on the outside, anything can be happening in their personal lives. But I guess that was true of me too. I looked over the aisle at Dizzle, Chalk, Nina, Zoe, and Lola. They had begun to wake up and get themselves together when I did. Now they whispered amongst themselves as the plane started its final descent. They looked back at me, expectantly, but reassuring at the same time. I nodded, then leaned over to Nina, who was on my side of the aisle. I'm so glad y'all are with me. This is my first time back since I left. I hope everything goes well. She grabbed my hand with both her hands. Her eyes were closed as if she were praying, but she didn't say anything out loud to me. Suddenly, I felt a calmness encompass me, and I sighed. I felt peace wash over my whole body, and I knew that whatever happened this weekend, it would be okay. I cocked my head to the side and waited as her eyes fluttered open. She nodded as I thanked her, mouthing the words without sound. It almost seemed unnecessary to say, but it was a habit. I turned my head slightly to catch Dizzle watching us with a knowing smile. The seatbelt signs turned off and we stood up to ready ourselves for when the door opened to the jetway. We were pretty close to the door, so our trip down the aisle would be quick. Nina's calming touch was just what I needed. I'd have to ask her about this exchange later. I hoped she would do it again. I had a feeling I would need it. The hotel was in a perfect location, just a short car ride from every club but one. I strategically chosen a place kind of distant from Prime's favorite hangout because I didn't want anything to tip him off if he took the bait that night. We arrived and everything went just as planned. I let Dizzle check in for both rooms and we all supplied our IDs. Mine was fake, of course. As long as that credit card cleared, I'm sure they didn't care that much anyway. We made our way to the rooms, arriving before the bellhop brought the luggage. I went to the restroom when he finally brought the bags in. He looked around at the stunning ladies and stuttered as he complimented them on their beauty and thanked them for the handsome tip. Chalk thanked them and smiled as she closed the door on him. I emerged from the bathroom in the main room with my glasses off and hair uncovered, happy to be able to relax finally. I walked over to the bar and retrieved the bottle of champagne I requested and handed it to Chalk. I knocked on the adjoining door. Dizzle opened it, somewhat startled. She laughed. I almost forgot about this part. I shrugged and laughed. I headed straight to the bar in this room and grabbed that bottle and started to open it. I could hear the distinct pop of the bottle next door and yell, "Hey!" I told the ladies to pour up. We are going to celebrate being in position. The ladies didn't know it yet, but tomorrow I was sending them to the mall to shop. Like the bellhop said, these ladies were stunning, and I wanted them to feel up to par. Nothing makes a woman feel more attractive than a day of shopping and pampering, spoiling yourself, or even better, being spoiled. I owed these women in advance. Dizzle told me that they didn't want to be paid, but I'd already talked to Deep about liquidating more cash in the next few days. I'd already given Dizzle 10K to carry on the plane. I'd carried another 10K, and the ladies carried about 5K each for me. They'd all dumped their respective stash in the room safe, not knowing that they'd be getting it back tomorrow to go shopping. My stack was for the club. Each woman would put down their credit card on a different night. Whichever night Prime took the bait, we'd pay out in cash so there would be no record. Besides, if you spend enough money, people will get amnesia for you. I made a toast. Up to it, down to it. Fuck those who don't do it. We do it 'cause we used to it. So drink, motherfucker, drink. We all laughed. I continued. In all seriousness, ladies, I want to thank you. I want to thank you all for coming along on this mission. I know you're here mostly on the strength of Dizzle and Dizzle on DP, but I appreciate you immensely. When I first left the city, bloody and bruised, I had no direction and no plan. I followed my instincts and did what felt right in my heart at every turn. Those choices have led me to this moment, and it feels right. Whether it is for me to be judge and jury, I do not know. I won't ask any of you to do anything that you are uncomfortable with. Dizzle cut me off. Sister, don't worry about any of that right now. My girls are down to the very end. We are in this together, and we're going to come out crisp and clean. You hear me? Now drink up, champagne getting warm. The other women echo her. Someone yelled order a bottle from room service. Someone else said, liquor, no more champagne. Let's get turned. I laughed. Yes, we will be doing this every year. Nobody woke up in the bed they selected. I was on the couch, but not in my suite. Two ladies were strewn across one bed like discarded clothing. Chalk was tucked neatly into the other. Dizzle must have been in our room because I didn't see her, but I also only had one eye open. I struggled to find a clock or a phone, but my internal clock and the position of the sun told me it was about 8 or 9 a.m. I peeled myself off of the couch to make my way to the bathroom. There were already lashes on the sink in varying lengths. I felt my face. Both of mine were intact, but one was holding on for dear life. I chuckled. I pushed the door closed and squatted as quickly as I could. I suddenly remembered where I was and why. My excitement grew. I was eager to get the day started, but didn't want to wake the ladies. I decided to take this time to get things prepped. I went to both safes and pulled out the wads of cash. I dumped the money on the bed I'd chosen the night before, but didn't reach. Dizzle was in her bed, but not under the covers. She'd fallen asleep on the phone from the looks of it. Her tiny frame was now balled up, still holding tight to her device. I grabbed a blanket from my pullout and laid it over her. I moved to my bed and sat down crisscross applesauce and began to count money into piles. I separated out 5 stacks, totaling 15K. I took out another 2K for Dizzle to grab me a few things to occupy my time. Also, I needed a new look for when Prime came to visit. Like that infamous scene when Sandy popped out in all black leather, I wanted Prime to look like Danny, dazed and confused. I counted out the rest of the money, 23K, peeled off a few 20s and returned the rest to the safe in my room. I grabbed my bag and took out a lounging outfit, undergarments, and toiletries. I hopped in the shower, lathered, and quickly rinsed several times, not wanting to linger. It is easy for me to get lost in my thoughts. I wanted to catch the ladies when they first started stirring, so they wouldn't be making plans for their day. Before the liquor started flowing, I made sure to use one of my alias credit cards to book a bachelorette party at my favorite spa. I was bummed that I couldn't join the ladies, but a few of their products were on my shopping list for Dizzle. I'd have plenty of opportunities to relax and pamper myself once this was all over. I stepped out of the shower and dried off somewhat, then slathered body oil all over myself. Then I stepped into my undergarments and this comfy three-piece lounge outfit that looked like I could be going outside. But nah, I'm chilling. I grabbed the stacks and stepped into the adjoining room. Chalk and Nina were just sprawled across the bed, one leg touching the other, scrolling on their phones. They looked at me as I crossed into the space and said, "Morning," in the loudest whisper ever. Lola laughed loudly. "Y'all don't have to whisper. I'm up. I was just meditating." "Laying down?" Nina asked, sitting up into a cross-legged position. Curiosity plastered across her face. I chuckled. Not missing a beat, Lola responded, "You praise God on your back, don't you?" We fell out laughing and clapping, thinking about how many times we've yelled, "Oh my God," while being nailed to the bed. Chalk jumped up and ran to the bathroom. Nina stopped giggling long enough to say, "Just like black folks to run off when the joke is funny." Chalk yells from the bathroom because, of course, she left the door open. Dizzle stumbles into the room, rubbing her eyes. She kisses her teeth as if she is being annoyed by her siblings, but then smiles. "You're making all this noise. Did you order coffee?" Nina gets up, still laughing and shaking her head. "Blame Lola. She's the crazy one." She finds the menu and hands it to Dizzle. "Order whatever you want. Today's hotel bill is on me." I move closer to the middle of the room so everyone can hear. I asked Chalk to come out the bathroom right quick because she's starting her morning skincare. "Ladies, again, I want to thank you for doing this with me. I appreciate you more than I could ever express." I take a long look at Dizzle. I shake the separated bundles of money in my hand and continue. "Tonight, y'all are going to a lounge. It's a chill vibe made up of mostly sections. I reserved the most expensive one, so y'all will be the center of attention. Not only because y'all baddies, but because everybody in this city knows that section costs, and it's in the perfect spot to see everything." I shook the money harder, but this isn't for that. This is for y'all to shop. The girl started dancing. I squinted at Lola. "I know you love designer, so this may only cover one item for you." We both shrugged and laughed. When I got to Dizzle, I gave her the last two stacks. "The extra $2,000 is for some items for me." I passed her the list, and she nodded as she skimmed it quickly before tucking it between the bills. "One more thing. I booked a party for 1 p.m. today at Blissful Day Spa. Everything has been paid for, including massage, facial, and one add-on treatment of your choice. They also do mani-pedis and eyebrows. But if you need anything else, I can recommend a few places to check out while you're here. The car will be here to get you at 12:15 for your appointment. After the spa, he'll take you to the mall and anywhere else you'd like to go." Nina and Chalk looked at me. "What you gonna do?" I did the brandy dance and sang, "Sitting up in my room." Don't worry about me. I'm used to this by now. I'll probably take a bath, read, and think. "And Trini," Dizzle trilled as she walked back into our room. "I'm just going to order a little bit of everything and we can eat as we like," she continued, "since this seems to be the pampering day." Nina yelled to us, "Make sure you order 3 champagne. One is definitely for Lacy since she's going to be all alone." When she said it like that, it sounded horrible, but I needed some alone time. I wasn't used to being around so many people for so much time in such a while. It reminded me of dance. That's really what I wanted to do, but I couldn't go anywhere near here and dance. Everybody knew me, from directors to owners to janitors. I sat down in a desk in a corner that faced the window and looked down into the street in the distance. I grabbed my phone from my back pocket and opened a search engine. I reached for I searched for a dance studio in a 50 to 100-mile radius. Bingo! This looks perfect. It opened at 2. I was sure this was in anticipation of the after-school classes for children. I looked at their offerings. They had drop-in classes for all ages at 7 p.m. I was getting excited. It would cost me about $80 round trip for this ride, but that was perfectly okay. I should be back before the ladies are ready to go. I waited for Dizzle to finish placing the order for room service so I could tell her my plan. I wasn't asking permission, but I needed to know if it was safe. I needed her to agree. I felt confident that no one would recognize me that far away. I chosen the furthest place in the results. I'm not about to psych myself out. A few minutes later, Dizzle hung up the phone. I asked which room she'd given them, and she picked the phone back up immediately to confirm with room service. When she hung up the second time, she came over to the bed nearest to me and stared out the window. After a few minutes, I turned to face her. She was considering her words, but I felt the expectation in the air. I knew she was wondering what my decision was going to be and how to handle Prime once we got him here. I still didn't know. We bought plastic bags, zip ties, plastic drop cloths, and some small screwdrivers in our luggage. I wasn't into torture, but could I shoot him? Dizzle finally broke her gaze from the awakening city and turned to me. She asked me in a cool, low tone, "Do we need a gun?" We popped champagne and cheered to life and death, to things unfolding the way that they needed to, in our best interest and for our greatest good. 12 p.m. came too quickly, and my girls left in a flurry of voices, material, purses, and perfume. I told them they needed to be makeup and fragrance free for the spa. They knew it and proceeded to get lightly dolled up for the ride anyway. Dizzle said I should expect nothing less. I knew it. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode 9 of Monster Killah. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you'll come back for what should be the last episode. Let you in on a little secret. Sometimes I just decide on where to break it based on the flow of the story, what's happening, and how long it is. I know, like, sometimes listening for a whole hour can be a lot, but I appreciate you guys more than you ever know, and I hope to have much more for you in the coming weeks and months. Please like, subscribe to the channel so you can see when the episodes drop, and share. It's a free way to support the channel. And if you have a little coin, check out the merchandise and feel free to donate. All the info is on the community tab. Thanks again, Chill Pills. See you soon.